This is another really bad one. This is 5, Trent. This is from the Merciful Servant. It's the top 5 misconceptions about Islam. Yeah, this is like a propaganda channel.
Oh no, I'm actually subscribed to Merciful Servant.
Why? What the fuck?
I'm subscribed to all my enemies.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
Top 5 misconceptions about Islam.
All the Islamic apologists, stop the video.
Number 5. Islam.
Yeah, all the Islamic apologist videos have hip-hop intros. I have no idea why. Also, that's technically haram.
They're appropriating black culture, damn it.
No, I mean, like, for singing and dancing is forbidden in the Quran, and they have singing and dancing at the beginning, well, singing at least, at the beginning of all of their videos. Dawah Man is a good example, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So the first one is Islam was spread by the sword. Go ahead.
Was spread by the sword. There is no record in history that shows people being forced by sword point to convert to Islam. Muslims ruled Arabia for over 1,400 years. Yet today, there are over 14 million Arabs.
Wait a minute. Literally every piece of evidence points to that. What are you talking about? Look at the accounts of every single jihad that happened. I mean, all throughout Europe. This was, I mean, they wrote this down. This is not just some, guess that we're taking here. Please.
It's a conspiracy.
They got the sword type wrong. They showed a broadsword. They should have been showing a scimitar.
I think it's the Jewish media been spreading those lies around. Oh my god.
That's amazing. How else did they spread it? Just by like negotiation?
through just the beautiful message. People were convinced.
Right.
Don't give us away as part of the Jewish media conspiracy.
Yeah, we're all secret Jews here. Oh,
we are good goyim. We're good goyim.
Do you know how many dead bodies would counter what we just heard? Like there's just a mountain of dead bodies that would refute that, but I guess they're decayed by now, so no proof.
Yeah, just a bunch of skeletons crossing their arms at the Merciful Servant, like, bro, come on. All right, go ahead, Trent.
To our Coptic Christians, if the Muslims had used a sword, there would not have been a single Arab who have remained Christian. Another example is India. Muslims ruled India for over 1,000 years.
So, just a quick point to make, because a lot of times it's through jihad that Muslims would take over nations. However, they are instructed that once they have control to not kill off the Christians and Jews, just to tax them, and then if they don't pay, then kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they didn't kill Christians and Jews. They would kill them as they invaded the country.
Yeah, if you go and rape and pillage a land and execute everybody, it doesn't mean you have to commit genocide and total annihilation for it to be violent.
That's useless. Then you don't have anyone to rule over.
Right. You wipe out the entire army, you kill people indiscriminately, and other people get the message. And then they're now like they got Stockholm syndrome, and they're living under oppression. That's how it works. And they're getting raped, probably.
Oh, that's fine. We can forgive that. It's Islam. Do you want to say anything, Logic Tree?
But remember, never man-spread.
Clearly the biggest problem in the world, man-spreading.
Yeah, white man opening his legs, that's oppression. Islamic man who's most likely Arab chopping a small boy's hands off, that's A-okay.
He should chop off that man's legs for daring to man-spread.
Wait a minute, this is great. Look at this. Muslims ruled India for over 1,000 years. Are they about to say that worked out well? Ask any Indian what they think of Muslims. Go to friggin' the border between Pakistan. Oh my God. They're enemy number one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to the protests currently against Dr. Zakir Naik preaching there.
Let's see what they say about India.
Years. If they had wanted, they had the power to convert each and every non-Muslim of India to Islam. But today, more than 80% of the population of India are non-Muslims. All these non-Muslim Indians are bearing witness today that Islam was not.
Exactly what they said.
Oh no! What do you think, Devin?
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, they're still non-Muslims there. First of all, it's a little bit easier said than done when converting like millions upon millions of people. Yeah, they're all non-Muslims and they all hate you. In fact, I interviewed an Indian guy and I asked him, "Is there a word for bigotry towards Muslims? Like, is there a word in Indian that is like to unfairly dislike a Muslim?" And he's like, "No, that word doesn't exist because that phenomenon doesn't exist because you should dislike these people." Look at our history. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like everyone else is on board besides, some people in America, like, Japan, China, Russia. Like people at large do not like
Well,
Muslims.
Well,
for-
yeah,
for-
honestly, with the loose immigration into Canada, I live in Texas, and we get so many Canadian immigrants. Usually they're either Sikh Canadian or white Canadian, and that's always because, like, basically these Muslim dudes moved into their neighborhoods and took over because you're not allowed to televise that shit because they're brown and therefore perfect.
Trudeau.
and I like that. You're saying that all these other groups of people don't like the Muslims? The Muslims don't like the Muslims. They're killing each other all the time.
He's not a
They're
true
not-
Muslim. He must die.
Yeah, that's right. I just love the fact when somebody's trying to make a point and they bring up a topic that is going to make them lose the argument. Like, you brought up India. Don't bring up India if you want to talk about a relationship.
Oh, yeah,
working out well
they're about
with
to bring
Muslims.
up some even worse points. That's probably one of their better points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, go ahead, Trent. Let's keep going.
Spread by the sword. If one considers a small number of Muslims who initially spread Islam to the west, all the way from Spain and Morocco and to the east from India and China, one would realize that such a small group of people could not force others to be members of a religion against their will. It is also interesting to note that when the Mongols invaded
I
and
don't even know what to say to that. That's ridiculous.
Wait a minute. Have you guys seen the video where they show you every battle, every time there was like a fight and it was jihadists coming in? We know the battles. History is just marked with the battles because people died and somebody's like, oh shit, thousands of people died today. Maybe I should write that down. It's like, we know where these things have happened. It was not peaceful at all.
Well, see, Devin, they just didn't have the capability. They started off with such small numbers. How could they spread it by the sword? It's not like
and the only-
they convinced other people to fight on their side.
And look, the only time it was remotely peaceful, it's like, do you guys remember the movie 300?
Yeah.
Where the Persians roll in and he's like, hey, you gotta, get on your knees and say that this dude is the king, otherwise we're gonna come and kill you. But
Yeah.
we'd rather not because we're kind of busy.
Yeah, that's as peaceful as it gets.
Yeah,
And
that's
honestly, when you look at if you really want to argue a peaceful conversion or a conversion based on an argument, think about the time that Islam was sort of created. There were barely any systems of order and peace in those lands. And while Islam is not a system of order and peace, by those standards, you could probably see how they would consider it peace. Hey, let's go kill everyone who's not us. It'll be very peaceful after that. And
It's like-
yeah,
The world will be very peaceful once you're either all Muslim or all dead.
Look,
Yeah.
it reminds me of The Godfather. Like, the guy goes to the Godfather walks up to a guy and he goes, look, unless you put my nephew in this musical and give him the part, I will chop off your horse's head. Like, now, technically, he did not raise up a sword. There was no violence. No human died. But that is violence. That is, it's terrorism. It's these people are not innocent of this.
yeah, it's violence by proxy.
Right.
Good band name, actually.
Well, yes.
Let's keep going. Let's watch a little more.
conquered large portions of the Islamic Empire, they themselves embraced the religion of Islam. Number 4.
Wonderful.
Muslims believe in
Was
a
that
different
music
God.
added in by you, or was it his?
I know. I did
Wait,
that.
was that
So they really played this music of da 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 go Muhammad.
was that argument the Mongols did it, so it can't be that bad? The Mongols are primitive barbarians who are like violent marauders.
The
Fuck
Mongols, my role models.
Yeah, I wonder if the Mongols are going to support Hillary Clinton. I wonder if she gets the endorsement of the Mongols. Jesus.
Don't worry. Don't worry about me doing something. The Mongols did it too.
Yeah.
Well, the
Never heard the
Mongols.
Mongol defense.
Yeah, I think the Mongols.
That's the
wouldn't
Mongol fallacy.
I think the Mongols wouldn't support Donald Trump because he wants to build a wall.
Yeah.
Awesome.
History jokes.
Oh my god. Yeah. What's this next one? Muslims believe in a different god. Okay.
Some non-Muslims
don't
incorrectly
technically.
believe that Muslims worship a god different than Jews and Christians. This might be due to the fact that Muslims refer to God as Allah. In actuality, Muslims worship the God of Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus.
Okay.
The word Allah is simply the Arabic
Yeah,
word
pause,
for
pause.
this is a priceless moment when us as atheists look at this and cringe. We don't care about the Christian or Jewish God because he doesn't exist. This is not a get out of jail free card for the Muslims. Like, this argument that they're putting forward might work if he's talking to Ken Ham, not us.
All right. Yeah, it's just kind of this idea like, I'm exempt now because we're brothers. We worship the same God. It's like, well, I guess you kind of technically worship the same character, but things did change, and there are different decrees of what your God wants.
I gotta tell you, when the apocalypse comes, these people are gonna be sorry.
The apocalypse.
Dude, yeah, the prophets are a little bit different. The God is not really the concern. It's more the differences between Muhammad and Jesus. They have more of a real world application that is concerning.
Well, I think this is something interesting in Islam that I've talked about, and I don't really see reflected across too many other religions besides like isolated cults. But we have a prophet who pretty much made himself out as God, as really the only one. Like when it comes to these other gods, you could say Yahweh or Jehovah. Like they had multiple prophets come and speak over many centuries. Muhammad inherently set up a governmental system with his religion to put himself at the top. Like when you say I'm the voice of God or I'm the hand of God, you're pretty much saying you're God, is what I'm getting at.
Well, he was Arab Charles Manson.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, they came later. They came after all this, and they declared themselves to be the final messenger of God. The final perfect message from the Lord, which sort of trumps every other religion, and it gives them this sort of, conquest. It's this domination of all of human history. We're right. Everybody that came before us is prelude to us. It's a disastrous situation.
Sure. Let's keep going. We'll do a little more, and we'll probably move on.
Almighty God. The word Allah is very unique. Nothing else except God can be called Allah. The term has no plural or gender. This shows its uniqueness when...
Firstly, this is my cup. Its name is Allah.
Allah's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
we all have names. Hey, I'm Reese. It doesn't have any gender. There's Reese Witherspoon. I guess you could have Reese's, but that doesn't make much sense. Couldn't you have Allahs?
Yeah, this is a new breed of horse. We're calling it an Allah. It's a herd of Allahs.
Yeah. Isn't it just a crazy awkward moment when two Allahs walk into the room at the same time and they're just like, how do we ourselves? This is too weird.
It's like, oh shit. No, they face each other and they can't move because one moves east and one moves west, and they're just stuck there for all time.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, let's keep going, Trent.
Compared with the word God, which can be made plural, gods or feminine goddess.
Oh my God.
Christian Arabs also refer to God as
this is
Allah.
so stupid.
Okay, the funny
Number
thing
3.
is for inferring that God is female, I know there have to be members of ISIS who would chop his head off for that.
And what I love about that is he's bragging about the word, just the use of language, which obviously men made up. You just made up the rules for that, and then you're saying, isn't it divine and amazing that we made up these rules? That is not impressive in the slightest.
Yeah, it seems weird because the men would have had to come up with the words to describe Allah and all the deeds. Yet they are, giving some kind of divine meaning to the word, unless they believe that the word was specifically handed down by God, which is a little strange. Yeah.
I like how they're going to patch things up with the Jesus followers right here.
Yeah, and then it gets real crazy.
It's Rio de Janeiro here. I've been to the statue a couple times, and it's a ripoff. They charge like $50 to get up there.
Jesus wants a hug.
Hugging Jesus. All right, let's keep going.
Muslims don't believe in Jesus. Many people are amazed to find out that according to Muslim belief, Jesus is one of the greatest messengers of God. One cannot be Muslim without believing in the virgin birth and the many miracles of Jesus. Jesus is also mentioned in many verses of the Quran and is often used as an example of good virtue and character. However, the main difference between Christianity and Islam is that Muslims do not believe that Jesus was God or the Son of God, Muslims believe that Jesus was a prophet and a messenger of God.
Okay.
Well, those are fighting words. Let's fight.
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, let's talk about the
Let's start us a crusade.
Rock me Amadeus run. It's not good.
We all know there's nothing worse than the Crusades.
It's kind of a big disagreement too. I mean, obviously, this is all like infantile nonsense, but to think that somebody is the son of God versus is not is kind of a major issue. He's trying to be like, aside from that, we still believe the guy was pretty cool. I mean, he wasn't the son of God.
Yeah, you believe he was God. We thought he was a nice guy. We can get along, right? No. Literally billions of people have been killed for that very reason. All right, yeah, let's keep. I think, yeah, this is one of the more ridiculous reasons coming up.
Number 2, Muslim women are oppressed.
Man.
One of the most disturbing misconceptions is the negative portrayal of women in Islam. Namely, that Islam degrades and oppresses women. This misconception is due to the negative culture and traditions that people all over the world still hold on to.
I love
Unfortunately,
that. I love that.
Hold
These-
up.
Yeah.
The negative culture that is caused by Islam. Like,
Yeah, I love that. No, not negative culture caused by Islam. What he's saying here is, oh, no, it's the rest of the world perceiving it that way. It's definitely not us. We're not the crazy ones. Everyone else is crazy.
it's something you've mentioned before, Devin, and they do it all the time. They'll be like, you know what? There's something wrong with the culture. They don't ever mention there's something wrong with the religion. There's something wrong with the culture. Let's divorce these two.
Yeah. I think they really inherently don't think that there's anything wrong with the way they treat women. But for me, it's like you could spend hours talking about just this one topic. Like, for example, the expression honor killing, I went through the majority of my life not even knowing that that was a thing, that existed. The fact that you have a word to describe such a egregious event or action like that tells you what all you need to know. Like, these people are subjugated and they're second-class citizens. This is absurd. He should not have brought up women in this.
Yeah, I mean, he brought up the Indian thing, and now he's bringing up this. Like, these are things that just shoot you right in the balls. Don't bring these up in a pro-Islam video.
Well, here's the thing. They're not going to bring up gays. They're not going to bring up apostates. They're not going to bring up Sharia law. They're smart enough to not bring those up. Why would they bring up women?
Yeah, for real. It seems.
Oh, by the way, do you see the second girl from the left there? She has got quite a nice little body. Bumping ass.
I think I see a little bit of ankle. Oh my god. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Traditions sometimes overshadow the Islamic teaching, and people from the outside believe that the traditions and Islam are the same when in reality they are not. For example, women in pre-Islamic Arabia had almost no rights. They were viewed as objects and were constantly humiliated. Their purpose was nothing more than to obey men and have children for him. When
Like
a
in
female
Islam.
baby was born, it was considered a disgrace to the
Wait a minute. Okay, so that argument is, hey, the Arabs that were here before we arrived, they were fucked up too. So I want to throw that out there. It's not just us. Like, this is the Arabs, like in Aladdin. I just did a video about Aladdin. Like, yes, we agree. They were, thank you, by the way. They were sexist, misogynistic, and brutal back then. These people come from the ancient world. We sort of have an understanding that people back then were more violent. They were more backward. What we don't want is for that mentality to come to us within the modern world. Is that too much to ask?
This argument is kind of like, well, you know, before in the Middle East, they didn't have any rules about women, and now the rules are they're worth 1/4 of a man. So we have rules, so it must be good, right? We must have order.
Imagine if you were like head of a fraternity and everybody in your frat was like raping everybody, and the cops come and go, dude, what is going on? And you go, actually, I'll have you know, the Neanderthals raped quite a lot. I mean, they were raping up a storm. Do not blame my fraternity.
Yeah, it's actually, you know, the Neanderthal DNA left over in me that caused. I don't have any autonomy of my own. That's why I did this. Blame it on
Man
that.
is that weak. And you could put a beautiful soundtrack to whatever this argument is. It's not helping. You know, this is we're seeing through this.
Yeah, this is a really well produced propaganda channel, and I don't know, it's crazy. It's great. It has a lot of views, it has a lot of subscribers, and that scares me. It really
Yeah,
does.
so does Vigilant Christian Mario.
Ugh. Oh my god, yeah, like
Wait, like, How many subs does this have? Just
I'm not remembering right now, but you know, quite a few. I'll look it up. Yeah, go ahead, Dre.
Family, and they were often buried alive. Islam brought positive change to Arabia. People who embraced Islam had to let go of these harmful cultural practices, and women were finally given the rights and respect that they deserved. For every male convert to Islam today, 4 females convert to the religion. Nobody will convert to religion that oppresses them. The truth is that
oh my god.
Pause.
Oh no.
Is he really going to talk about converting and deconverting and what's involved in that? And I love the fact that, oh, we help this region. You want to see proof? Look at Saudi Arabia today. You know, it's an oasis of
Oh
humanitarianism.
no. Yeah. Meanwhile, atheist bloggers get arrested there, and you know, usually killed. You know, that's wonderful.
Yeah, don't we, all three of us, don't we know someone who literally, the Pharaoh, who can't come out as an atheist in public, or he will be publicly beaten?
Yeah, because he's in Egypt, and he can't. Yeah, he can't come out with that. He's anonymous for that reason.
Not even allowed to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, and he's called the Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh. I think
Yeah,
Devin
that's
knows.
crazy. I love the Pharaoh. This is so interesting because what we're doing here, you know, a lot of other people are doing where they're criticizing Islam and exposing it for what it is. This has never happened in human history, where this religion and this set of ideas is getting bitch slapped, like all the time. When you're sleeping at night, somebody's bitch slapping Islam. Like, that is amazing in a public forum. And so this is, obviously it's going to take generations, but this is the beginning of the end. Not just for Islam, for religion.
It hurts their feelings.
Atheism
Though.
is unstoppable. My Patreon is patreon.com/atheism. Come and support me.
Awesome. I like the plug. I'm gonna find out Merciful Servant here in a minute. Let's keep going. The last one's also pretty ridiculous.
Islam provides women with the rights they deserve to be successful in this world and the next.
Define successful,
Number one,
and by the way, there is no
Muslims are terrorists.
Yeah. I like the argument too, like, oh, you know, more women are converting. Why would they convert to a religion that oppresses them? It's like, yeah, actually more women in general do convert to religions. That's true. Why? I mean, a lot of women carry on these oppressive religious rituals, like the female genital mutilation is often carried out by women.
Are you saying it's internalized misogyny?
Internalized misogyny.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
would argue-
maybe to a certain degree within these religious communities, women are kind of brought up to feel inferior. Like it even happens here. You know, I'm in a community with a lot of Mormons. Like I see that a lot of the time, like this, like, oh, I was created to get married, to have a lot of children. That is my purpose on this earth. It's pretty rampant throughout even the first world. So imagine how it is in the third world.
Yeah,
Well,
I love the
yeah.
fact that he said women can be successful. We give them the tools to be successful. On your definition of successful, which is to pump out sons for some dude and get raped every night. You know, that's not success.
That's success. Success.
Yeah, and I would argue that there is a next world. It's called Mars, but we don't have the technology to live there yet. And there's my plug, NASA.
All right. So the Merciful Servant has 500,000 subscribers.
God, that's more than Jacqueline Glenn.
Scary.
That's a
Some
scary
scary
word.
shit right there. People are watching that.
That is literally 3 times as many as Vigilant Christian Mario.
Shit. Yeah. Let's try to get this finished up. We're doing good.
and extremists. This
Why
is
does that
by
ever
far the biggest misconception of Islam, given unfairly by stereotyping and the public
Stereotypes.
image that the media gives. Has anyone else noticed how when a specific group of people attack another group of people, it is labeled as a hate crime, but when a Muslim opens fire on anybody, it is quickly regarded as terrorism?
Because there's, well, in these cases there's a political motive. That's why
Yep,
we deem it
words.
as terrorism.
Yes, words have definitions. That's a tricky thing that these people have to deal with.
I don't understand. This thing's different than that thing. I can't distinguish. It's like, well, that's your fault. I'm sorry. It's up to the smart people to sort that out. There's a difference between a hate crime and terrorism.
Yeah, it's really insignificant, though. I mean, really.
Yeah, take for instance, sorry.
Go ahead.
Take for instance curb stomping, face up fetish, face down hate crime.
Oh my
Never
god.
considered that.
That's a good point, Tree. Let's keep going.
Many political dictators and officials or extremist groups use the name of Islam as a strategy to gain followers and attention when many of their practices go against the teachings of Islam. Islam does not support terrorism under any circumstances. Terrorism goes...
Wait a minute. I didn't realize we were listening to the Pope of Islam. That's cool. Now we're the no true Muslim fallacy.
Yep.
Was just unearthed.
Excuse
and I love,
me,
again,
do you understand the codified doctrine of Islam?
You're gross.
And racist.
Right. But this is the point. It's like, he says it goes against the principles of Islam. According to him, again, it's definitions. How are you defining that? You know, it's not successful for women to live the lives they do in some of these regions. And, you know, who's to say that ISIS is against the principles of Islam? Clearly, they have a great case to make. Have you read the Quran?
Yeah, I mean, when they commit these acts, they cite specific verses that inspired them. How can you say that they have a faulty I don't understand this. This is one of the things that really pisses me off. It's not even necessarily the Muslims. It's the people who come to the defense like, oh, the people in ISIS, they aren't real Muslims. These people who were raised in the Middle East their entire lives, who had this shoved down their throat, they're not real. Then what the fuck is a real Muslim?
Yeah, and look, if you are some Christian guy, you're reading the Bible, it says stone witch. You go to the first Wiccan you can find, you stone her. The cops come, they go, what the fuck? You go, it's in the book. I followed the instructions in the book. You cannot then say, this guy is not Christian because he didn't interpret it right. He interpreted it perfectly fine. It says it in black and white. No, I'm not comparing Christians. No, here, the good takeaway from that is also to remember, Christians don't do that.
Yep.
Muslims do.
It's true.
Yeah, and it's been shown that if Christians did follow the Bible literally and all of it totally, then they would be more violent than Muslims, but they don't.